Hello, folks. Today is Friday, March 23rd. Geez, I'm way ahead of the game. Today is Friday, January 23rd, 2026. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. A lot of stuff. It kind of feels like, the picture of 2026 is starting to be painted in terms of gaming with like release dates, new game announcements and stuff. So let's just roll into the first thing and look at an incredibly ambitious RPG. That's the title because yes, Xbox had their developer direct presentation where they finally pulled the curtains back on Fable, the long awaited return to one of my favorite like fun kind of action RPGs, the original Fable back in the day, is here. A lot of gameplay, a lot of details about it, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. I was pretty skeptical. I was cautiously optimistic, but with this, finally actually seeing gameplay, a couple of details, you can create your own character. There's some level of character customization. It is a big, seamless open world. We got to see a bit of that world, some horseback traversal, and a bunch of really detailed, pretty gorgeous looking villages, settlements, and castle towns with Bowerstone looking incredible. With them evolving the franchise here, what's cool to see is that there's going to be like 1,000 unique NPCs, all individually voiced with their own lives, their own traits, and you can interact with all of them. You can marry them, you can screw them over, you can mess with them, you can buy property, sell property, like good Fable stuff, but it feels like it's on a bigger scale, and I like seeing that. The developers did do a really good, insightful interview with IGN, and in that interview, they did confirm that your actions are not going to change your appearance, which for me is a massive, massive issue. I know not everybody loved that whole thing back in the old game where like your actions being evil or being using a heavy weapon would make you strong, would make you get devil horns, etc., etc. I know some people didn't really dig that, but that was one of my favorite aspects of Fable, and they have confirmed that that is not really going to be in the game. They explain their reasoning for it. I'll link it in the description down below. They're trying to keep it more people focused and reputation focused and more like gray area, like what level of hero you want to be. And I think if they can make good on your actions actually changing the people and the world in front of you, I'd be okay with that. Still, it's something I'm going to sorely miss, but everything else I see here looks really cool, and I think there's a lot of potential. The combat and some of the visuals obviously still kind of look like a work in progress. It's a little framey, but I think like the visual style of the game coupled with like the reputation system and people reacting to you and what you do and just the fact that they're all unique, that to me sounds incredibly ambitious, and I'd like to see that really play out. If you like hearing me talk about Fable, I did a whole breakdown on my other channel, youtube.com/Jake Baldino, but the main gist here too is that it's also releasing for Xbox, PC, and PS5 fall of 2026. That is, of course, unless it gets delayed again, because games still get delayed all the time. But moving on to the Xbox Developer Direct, we also got a look at Double Fine's new game. They're working on this fun, quirky multiplayer party game called Kiln, where essentially you build up with like a pottery system, your own type of vase or bowl or vessel, and then it becomes like a little character, and then you engage in this kind of competitive little multiplayer party brawler thing. Very cool. I really like that Double Fine is still able to just do creative, weird, quirky stuff in a world where these companies are more risk averse. It's nice to see people experimenting. Even if it's not my cup of tea, it definitely looks like something that might be fun to play with friends or with kids or younger siblings. So yeah, that's coming out spring 2026. Also, Beasts of Reincarnation. We've seen this before, but now we got a real in-depth look at Game Freak's next game. These are the people that make the Pokemon RPGs. They're doing something completely different here that looks very heavily inspired by things like Nier Automata, Stellar Blade, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Dark Souls. It's got that style of combat. They said specifically on their Steam page they want challenging, demanding combat, but it is a one-person and one-wolf adventure, and I think the monster designs, the creature designs, and all that stuff looks really impressive here. It still feels kind of derivative. I feel like I've seen a lot of this before, but when they do cut to real gameplay with the UI and some of like the kind of time-based elements, it seems like it could be pretty cool. Still, I definitely want to see more. Like either way, we'll judge all these games when we actually get our hands on them. Right now, it is slated for summer 2026. And last but certainly not least, Forza Horizon 6. They showed off the full Japan setting that was teased, and it looks awesome. You got a great mix of city and countryside. Countryside, which Forza Horizon has really excelled in recent years, but like full-on streets and, you know, JDM style racing, cool cars. You see Honda, Toyota representation here. Very cool to see. Multiplayer shakeups, but also progression shakeups for how the game actually plays, like how you progress through a kind of career campaign, which I'm very curious to see, and just insane visuals. Pretty straightforward, but I'm definitely into it. They've acknowledged a lot of community concerns, it seems like here, so I'm looking forward to seeing how the final product actually turns out when it releases May 19th. And they did confirm it's coming to PS5 later in the year. Hey, now before we keep going, let's talk about the sponsor of this video. Maybe you're looking around your home office, your bedroom, your apartment, whatever, and thinking, this place looks kind of boring. Well, you could spruce it up with Displate, man. Check these out. Displate offers high quality metal posters that are easy to put up and are just a great way to express yourself with a bunch of different options, including the ability to make your own custom. So not only is it a nice high quality metal poster, but you can get your own images on it. Like I put my pets here. This is Boston and Abby. Tool-free magnet mounting means you can hang these things in literal seconds and you don't have to destroy your walls. And if you're not handy like me, you're not using any screws or anything. And they look absolutely awesome. Plus original artworks from over 40,000 independent artists and over 200 brands. Meaning you can get cool stuff like Marvel, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Elden Ring, The Witcher 3, you name it. From ultra limited collectibles to 3D texture, giving you a little bit of a different surface appearance, to just a general Displate, it's all high quality and exciting. Just makes my place look cool. And people always ask questions about them, whether I have pictures of my pets or movie posters I like too. So if you want to check this out, all you got to do is click the link in the description down below. And when you're there, use code ONGameranx to take advantage of these discounts. Get one Displate, 28% off. Get two Displates, 32% off. 3 or more Displates for 35% off. So you get hooked up here and you can cover your walls. Again, that's displate.com. Click the link in the description down below. When you're there, use code ONGameranx to take advantage of these killer discounts here. Check it out, and big thanks to Displate for sponsoring this video. Now back to the news. In other news, Ubisoft is in the news. Their stock price has tanked, all because of this whole thing that they announced. This is apparently the start of a long period of like restructuring for Ubisoft, portfolio strategy changing and studio changing, with this resulting in a lot of news. So far, a lot of stuff is probably still going to continue to happen, but so far they've closed 2 studios, kind of support style studios, a bunch of layoffs, and they've canceled 6 projects, including the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. Along with that, they said they did delay and push a big slate of games, many we don't know about, but Assassin's Creed Black Flag, that remake, that's probably going to be one of them. To me, the way this looks, it's like a shift from quality over quantity, where they were doing the opposite, and I guess it wasn't working for them. Now it feels like they're like they have no choice anymore, and they had to really rip the Band-Aid off and try and right the ship, because Ubisoft has been having issues for quite some time. They said they're doubling down on mastering or you know, return to mastery of like the open world action game format, as well as live service stuff, which I guess they would lean into Rainbow Six Siege and more things like that. But the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake is interesting because, yes, I know that was apparently in development hell. It changed development studio. That first look at it did not look good, but if they were trying to get this thing going, there was potential, just because Prince of Persia Sands of Time is an incredible game. But I think it's kind of embarrassing that they couldn't even do an easy layup remake of one of their best games. Still, I guess maybe it doesn't tarnish the original, and I'm glad that the original still exists. And you should play it, because it holds up, honestly. They're organizing different games and genres into different creative houses, and it just sounds like a lot of corporate speak, but this does, like when you really look into it, it does feel like a big move and a big shakeup for Ubisoft. Is it going to fix things? We have no way of knowing. It's probably an ongoing thing, but that's where it's at now. So let me know what you think. Along with that, weirdly enough, Ubisoft did update some more games. They've been updating their games for 60 frames per second, and just this week, they updated Far Cry 3, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, and Far Cry Primal to be 60 FPS on all the modern consoles. Their way, I guess, of saying like, hey, we're not putting out a lot of new stuff right now, but you can go check out our old stuff that was actually pretty good. Next up, a thing with CD Projekt Red, who issued a DMCA notice, or a takedown notice, for somebody who came up with a Cyberpunk 2077 VR mod. Luke Ross is a talented modder. He does VR kind of projects and mods for a lot of popular games, and his work was kind of behind a Patreon, like it was all paywalled, like supported by fans fans and stuff like that. And the way it goes down, CD Projekt Red didn't like, this guy essentially profiting off of their IP, even if it's not technically like he's selling the mod in particular. He just has a Patreon where all of his work is paywall behind, but still they didn't like it. They came after him, and it's down now. The way it works, at least the way it reads here, is apparently they were okay if he offered it for free, but that didn't work out. So that's where this is at now. The way CD Projekt Red justifies it is that like they don't want somebody else making money off of their IP without their permission. But either way, I did want to talk about this just because it is an interesting conversation, but most particularly because the VR mod potentially was awesome. Like just looking up some of the gameplay I could see of it, it seemed like it was cool. Next up, some updates on some games, some new announcements and stuff like that. We got a big flashy new trailer for Marathon, kind of revealing a better look at the game, the voice actors, pre-orders, stuff like that. It seems like people are a little bit more positive on it now. Either way, I'm over like talking about this one. I just like want to play it and see what the deal really is. And we know it's releasing March 5th. Also, a surprise announcement of a new Life is Strange game, but it's kind of a return to form with the OG characters that I think people love the most and like why people love that franchise, Max and Chloe. This is Life is Strange Reunion, and the trailer is pretty cool. It kind of like reveals these characters like it's like a big thing, and this is releasing March 26th, 2026. But there was also some smaller game announcements. Don't miss stuff like this. This is Magnavale, Eternal Soul, and this is kind of like a Castlevania style game that looks pretty cool. Kind of like this weird looking dragon devil person, but just like that Castlevania vibe. I'm always a sucker for that. Also, check out Mechborn. This is a cool kind of turn-based battle with a card system featuring mechs and kind of hero style. Very bright, very colorful. But then on the opposite end of that, Inky Blinky Bob. This is a PC title reveal that is kind of giving me like the Choo Choo Charles vibe. Remember the first person game with like the haunted train? Now it looks like it's kind of like a haunted hot air balloon type thing. I don't know. It's weird, but it's interesting. And speaking of interesting too, medieval battle food truck. This is a cool concept. It's one of those like burger flipping, food making simulators, but you're a food truck stationed on the outside of a medieval battle. So you see this big war of knights going on in front of you, and soldiers are constantly running up to the food truck like, I need food. Cool, creative. I don't know. It's something different. I figured I'd highlight that. But in terms of next week, Monday, Highguard is releasing. In case you forgot, that first-person competitive game from former Apex Legends developers is dropping on Monday. It was revealed at the Game Awards, and they were like, it's coming soon, and then we haven't heard anything about it since, but I'm very curious to see what the deal is with this one. There has been a lot of talk about it. Obviously, people are like, well, what's going on? Where is this game? For me, I think the gameplay actually looked kind of fun. The characters kind of generic, so I don't know if it's going to land, but instead of talking, I'm going to judge it when I actually get to download it and play it. So hopefully it's still releasing next Monday, like they said, but we haven't heard anything, at least at the time of recording this video. Also, last but certainly not least, I usually end on like different media stuff, like video game shows. How about that Fallout show, man? The reveal, the last episode, love to see it. If you know, you know. But in terms of releasing, Return to Silent Hill is in theaters. Did you even know this existed? That's right. They made another Silent Hill movie, and it's kind of centered around Silent Hill 2 and the tale of James. The early reactions have been pretty wild. It seems like we might have another return to Welcome to Raccoon City, whatever the hell that movie was called. Low budget, small. I'm interested to see it. Honestly, I can't help myself. Haven't seen it yet, but also I remember when the original Silent Hill movie came out, people shit on it, and now people look back at that one like pretty fondly. So I don't know if it's going to be the same here. This one looks pretty rough, but if you're checking that out this weekend, let me know. Also, if you're in the East Coast, big storm coming. Be safe. Be careful. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about everything this week, from the Xbox reveals to Fable discourse to Ubisoft and whatever the hell they're doing to Highguard. Are you going to play it? And also, what are you playing this weekend? Let us know in the comments, like the top comment thread, the pinned thread. Just hit us up with what you're playing for our research. We genuinely appreciate it. But that's it. I got to get back to work. Thanks for listening to me yap about the news. I'm here every Friday to get you caught up. I've never missed a Friday. So thanks for being here. All I ask now is click the like button. Be safe. I'm Jake Baldino. Pizza's on me. See ya.